Hello and welcome to GSF Podcasts, sponsored by the Gary Sinise Foundation's Education and Outreach Initiative, aiming to educate the public on the importance of serving America's veterans, first responders, and their families.
Welcome to the Gary Sinise Foundation podcast. I'm your host, Cristin, and today I am thrilled to welcome country music artist and U.S. Army veteran Scotty Hasting to the show. After serving in the U.S. Army, surviving multiple gunshot wounds during combat in Afghanistan, Scotty faced a long and difficult recovery. In spite of all the adversity he faced, or maybe because of it, he discovered a new mission and turned his pain into purpose through songwriting and storytelling. His music speaks to the soul of the warrior community, and his journey reminds us that even after trauma, there is still room to rise. Welcome to the podcast, Scotty.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think you just said it all. I guess I can just get out of here.
Absolutely not. We're going to go much deeper. I have many, many questions to ask you.
Yes, absolutely.
So we are big fans of music over here. And Max Sinise, Gary's son, was a very, that's like saying it lightly, very, very talented musician. And I know that he would have loved to have talked to you about the craft or the art of it all. And so listening to your music, some of your most powerful songs are about your time in service. So why is it important for you to reflect on that?
I think, April 21st, 2011, when I got shot, kind of changed everything for me. My time in service kind of made me into who I am, and showed me that life is very precious, and it taught me a lot about life. And when you're writing songs, you pull from experience, and for me, not only is that an experience that I'll never forget, but it's an experience that hopefully can do some good. I think that I'm just trying to make something good out of the bad.
What a way to, just, it's like a turning point and such a shift in your life. And to take something like that, which would normally be it's so tragic, to turn it into positive is incredible. And to give back, like you just continue to serve. You found like a service mission in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so backing up, why or what or who inspired you to join the military?
Growing up, I always felt like I needed to be a part of something like that mattered, something that meant something. Yeah, and the military was
That's very profound for someone for growing up to.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just I felt like I just needed to do something that meant something.
Yeah.
And
why the Army?
Because growing up watching movies and TV shows, the soldier that I thought of was an Army soldier that went and fought the bad guys. And that's why I joined the Army, and that's why I joined as an infantryman, because to me, that's what a soldier was.
So what was boot camp like? Was it what you expected?
Oh, basic training was easy.
Honestly,
so the craziest thing is I went in later in life. I was 21 when I went in, so I was the old guy in basic training.
That is a little older. I turned 19 in boot camp.
Yeah.
Like my 19th birthday, I remember standing there after eating chow and being like, they said something and they said the date for some reason. I was like, oh, it's my birthday.
Like, oh yeah, guys. Yeah.
What is this?
Just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Didn't mention it. No one ever knew.
Because they will make you run for you to celebrate your birthday. Absolutely.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, it was easy. You know, the military life was easy. You're told where to go, when to go there, and what to wear while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, it was super easy, but you know, the hardest part was just doing all the physical exercise.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Always.
All
constantly.
Hours of the day.
100%.
Let's just add more to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just add a 70-pound pack.
Yeah. Oh, you're sleeping? Cool. Wake up. Let's do some push-ups. Absolutely.
You want to get a little IT out there? You want to just have a little fun? Let's just add some more, mountain climbers.
Absolutely.
Why not?
You know what would make this day so much better is if we ran 10 miles real quick.
And like in boots and utes. Well,
yeah.
No, I remember. And did you ever have any injuries or anything that you were?
Oh, I mean, you get blisters all throughout, and you know it's crazy. Like you get a blister and then you finally get it healed, and then it happens right after again. It's
immediately.
Like, you just keep it. It's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna bleed down through my feet, I guess.
Just the way it goes.
Absolutely.
So from there, what was your job, or as we would call it, MOS?
Yeah, my MOS was 11 Bravo. I was an infantryman.
Okay. So you did it.
Yeah.
You had your sights set on that, and you did that.
Yeah, I should have played hard to get though a little bit. Because going through, like when I got into basic training, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I got a signing bonus," and I was like, "Wait, you got a sign?" It's like that meme where everyone's like, "Oh, I'm getting paid this, I'm getting paid this," and the one guy's like, "Wait, you guys are getting paid?" Like,
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
That was absolutely it, 100%.
You just had goals. Okay, so you were an infantryman. What part did you play in that?
What do you mean?
Like, what was your job within the infantrymen?
Yeah, so my job when I got to my unit was. Eventually, it became Valent operator when I got into Afghanistan, which is crazy. Valent operator is the metal detector, and it was my job to basically find the IEDs in the ground,
so
which is crazy.
Front guy on the front lines.
Yeah, I was in the front of the movement.
What was it like to know you were going to do that?
You know, at first it was...
It's not about if you're going to find an IED, you're going to.
We did all the time, absolutely. You know, it was nerve-wracking at first until you start getting trained up in it, and then you start understanding it more. And you know, it's like everything else in the military. You know, you train until you feel incredibly proficient at it, and then you're good to go. And then you're like, man, I don't know if I could do any other job.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah, you know, I loved it because I was kind of like the first line of defense for the rest of the guys behind me.
You were taking care of people, taking care of everybody.
Absolutely.
You were the one that they relied on, knowing that they could take a deep breath.
Yeah.
That's a huge stress.
Yeah, and there were so many times where it was like, hey, like just follow my footprints. Wherever you see my footprints,
literal
that's where
footprints too.
Absolutely.
Not even like, you don't go an inch out.
Yeah.
Because it's as little as just taking one step back, which we've had guys on the podcast who just took a step back to get out of the way for you.
And then something
It was
happens.
you in the front. And that was what set off the IED.
Absolutely. It's insane.
That is, I can imagine just the amount of pressure and anxiety you had on your shoulders, let alone the entire, your fellow service members, but you were carrying a lot. What was it like to find out that you were getting deployed to Afghanistan?
It was very sudden.
Was it?
Yeah, so I graduated basic training and we got to my unit, and as soon as we showed up, they're like, hey, you guys know we're deploying in the next 2 months or so. And I was like, cool, like, all right, wasn't expecting that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to my unit, and then 2 months later we were in Afghanistan.
2 months? What was your feelings when you found out that you were going?
Oh, you're nervous, you're scared a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I had a family at the time, so it was like, okay, do they move here? Do they not? Like, what? How does this work?
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it's, that's crazy news to hear.
Oh, I mean, were you nervous?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, you get out of basic training and you think like, okay, I did this part, now I'm gonna go to my unit and I'm gonna have some time with the guys.
Like
and
learning?
And I'm gonna learn this new job that I'm going into, and I'm gonna, go and, be a part of the unit for about a year or so, and then we're gonna deploy. And no, you don't ever go into it expecting
you like
to
blinked
deploy,
and you were in Afghanistan,
Absolutely.
You're there already.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That's very fast.
Absolutely.
How did your family react?
They were not expecting it to be that quick either. Because they, having conversations with the recruiter and stuff like that. It was like, oh yeah, you'll go to your unit and then you'll have some time and then you can get established within your unit and at the installation and everything else. And it was just like, hey, we don't have time for any of that.
Wow.
We gotta go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
Can you take us through the day you were injured?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. April 21st, 2011. We were on patrol. We were headed to a suspected bomb maker's hut to kind of ask questions and get information.
Right.
So yeah, we were just in the movement, walking, and there was a guy hiding behind a wall. And I saw him initially, but he looked like everybody else. The problem with fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan is they dress the same. I mean, they dress just like, they make sure to dress just like the civilians that are around the area.
Right. Because
you never know who they are. And it's not like a war where you're fighting someone in a different uniform.
Right.
And so it was like, he just looked like a normal civilian because all of them look at you like, you don't belong here, what are you doing?
Right.
And so I just went back to doing my Valiant operations and went back to doing what I was doing. And I saw him move real quick, and that's kind of what caught my eye. And I turned to him and I squared up to him like they teach you to square up. And I squared up to him, and by the time I squared up, he had already pulled a rifle from behind his back and was spraying. And he was maybe 12 feet from me.
No.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, he was too close to miss.
He's like here from the camera.
Yeah, he was too close to miss. And it was, he was close enough to where I felt the blast from his rifle. I remember feeling every bullet, and I remember feeling the blast from his rifle.
And how many times?
10 times.
You shot 10 times.
Yeah. Well, technically 12, because there were 2 that went into my plates, but I don't count those.
You don't count the ones that didn't, even though they did hit you.
I don't count the ones that didn't go in my body.
They didn't go in your body, so you don't count them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had a rifle across my chest, and then I had the plates because of the Valiant.
Right.
And 2 rounds went through the rifle into my plates, and I had bruises on my chest for a long time, but they didn't actually go in my body, so we're not going to count those. 1 time is too many. I agree.
1 time is too many. Like, that's no. 1 time is 1 too many, but 10 times.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And whoever said that adrenaline kicks in and you don't feel it is a liar.
Okay, I was going to ask,
100%.
what?
No, I felt every single round. It was awful.
What's going on through your mind? Because I would assume, did it all seem like just 10 times was like in an instant, or did you was it like, whoa, once?
Yeah, no, it felt like it was all in an instant. I felt all the pain that came with it. I remembered he was close enough to where the rifle actually knocked me down on the ground. And yeah, I remember feeling every bit of it. What was going on through your mind? Honestly, it was just, I couldn't do anything. I remember just yelling. And then landing on the ground, and I think what I noticed initially is I landed on the ground and he was trying to fix his rifle. His rifle had jammed. Mm-hmm. And then that's when he looked at me and I looked at him, and I pulled my rifle up and pointed it at him, and he dropped his and took off running because he thought that I was about to start shooting. And good instincts. Yeah. That you did that, and thank God he ran. Yeah. Well, I didn't know my rifle was hit. I had no idea. So I went to shoot and I pulled the trigger and nothing happened. I'm like, oh my God, he could just end it right now. And luckily he didn't see that my rifle didn't shoot, and he just took off. But yeah. And so then what happened? So then it was, that was actually the initiation of an ambush. They had set up an ambush. Originally, they had set it up in this field that we were walking toward, we were all gonna, luckily I made the decision that we weren't gonna go into the field, we were gonna go off to the side. Ultimately that saved my whole squad, the whole team, whole squad. I mean, that we would have been wiped out had we gone into that field. So they had an L-shaped ambush, and if being in the military, you understand L-shaped ambush is the most lethal ambush you can come across.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why we do it in the military so well. So they had an RPG team and a heavy machine gun in front, and then they had a machine gun team over here to the left. So had we walked into the field,
oh, no.
they would have just opened up fire, and it would have been awful. Yeah. So instead, I went to the left, and I walked up on the guy who had the heavy machine gun, but he was hiding it behind his back, and I didn't see it. Yeah.
So then after you're on the ground, I'm assuming your team just came in and was...
100%, yeah. So I got shot. I guess the RPG team and stuff heard the firing, and they just started shooting through like this little break in the wall. And so the rest of my guys were behind this break in my wall, or behind the break in the wall, and they were just trying to shoot through the wall at whatever was shooting at them. And I remember it felt like an eternity. It was probably only like 30 seconds, but it felt so long. And I remember my medic basically just saying, screw it, and took off running through the fire and got to me. But yeah, it was crazy. I remember the scariest part of all of it wasn't, getting shot. I mean, that part sucked. That hurt.
Yeah.
The scariest part was laying there thinking that the guy was going to come back and peek his head around the wall and just finish the job. That was the part that I was like the most scared of, because I had a weapon that didn't work and there was no way to defend myself, and I'm just laying here, and I was like, man, he's just going to peek his head through and he's just going to finish it.
And you're waiting then. You're laying there. So
yeah, I tried to crawl back to the guys, but I couldn't get, my body wouldn't move.
But your brain is still thinking and processing and just there. So he gets to you.
Yes.
And then you're evacuated.
Yeah.
And you're conscious this whole time?
Oh yeah, 100%. He gets to me and he starts working on me, and then eventually the rest of the guys get to me as well. And
what was that like?
It was relief, honestly. But yeah, they got to me, and they immediately started working on me, started filling holes basically. Jeez. And yeah, it was 40-ish minutes, and I was in Kandahar eventually, but yeah.
40-ish minutes laying there, conscious.
Yeah, craziest part is I had lost so much blood that my eyesight went out.
Oh, interesting.
And it was kind of like just like a white film, which, thinking about it now, it's kind of like if people, like, you hear people talk about like seeing the light, like maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. We've had our last one with Tyson Quink, he came on. He did say that like the blood he felt it kind of drained from his face.
Yeah.
And he just started to notice, like, whoa, I just need to stay conscious.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically all it was, you go through basic training, and you go through like combat lifesaver courses and stuff, and they teach you that, shock is gonna be the #1 killer of a combat injury. So my whole job after I got shot was to just try to stay as calm as possible. I mean, I was in incredible amounts of pain, but I was like, I need to stay calm. I need to think about everything else. I just need to calm down. And luckily, when my guys got to me, they understood the assignment, because they started joking around with me and stuff, and I was joking with them, and it honestly, ultimately, that saved my life.
Yeah.
Being able to joke around with them and try to stay calm. I mean, that was everything.
We talk about humor in a way that it is healing. And I guess in those moments, it was the thing that kind of your lifeline in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what was the recovery process? So you get to Kandahar, I guess, and then what's happening?
Yeah, so I got shot, get to Kandahar airfield. Immediately they start doing all the emergency procedures. They hook me up to blood. They start pumping blood back into my system, and then
how you didn't bleed out?
I have no idea. I have no idea how I didn't bleed out.
Unbelievable.
Because they teach you. I mean, you bleed out in 3 minutes.
And you're saying 40 minutes,
Yeah. I don't know how.
Okay.
It's insane.
That's insane.
Absolutely insane.
There were angels on you, and that's unbelievable.
Yeah, so got to Kandahar Airfield. They started patching me up, put me on blood, and then my eyesight started coming back, and that's when I was like, I started noticing lights and stuff in the room, and I was like, hey, like I can see, like my eyesight's coming back, I can start to see again, and then that's when I remember a lady bending down and saying, hey, we got you. It's okay for you to go to sleep. You can go to sleep now. Like, we got you. And I immediately passed out. Craziest part about that story is 4 or 5 years later, I met a guy who was in that room and who was working on me. There wasn't a woman in that room that day.
Oh, I just got chills. My entire body.
Yeah, because I was like, man, like, thank God that woman like told me to go to sleep, because she told me to go to sleep, and I immediately passed out. And he said, woman. He said, there wasn't a woman there that day.
What?
Yeah.
Who was that?
I don't know.
That is incredible.
It was insane.
She knew.
It was insane.
I was going to ask, what did it feel like to hear those words? Like, those words.
That was the craziest part. I remember hearing this woman say that, and I remember how it just made me like just kind of just like give up. It just made me like, it gave me such a sense of relief, and I just like went to sleep. Oh. It was insane.
That is unbelievable. Wow. We've had conversations here too, where there's just moments where you're just like, how? Like, if you didn't believe in angels, you have one right there with you.
Yeah,
that's
it was
beautiful.
It was amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah. So after you're worked on, then what?
So they get me stable enough to move me to Landstuhl, Germany.
Okay.
But in between Kandahar and Landstuhl, they had to make a stop in Bagram because they lost pulse in my arm, and they couldn't figure out why or how. Originally, they thought they were gonna have to take my arm. Thank God modern medicine is what it is, because they ended up taking a vein out of my right leg and replacing my artery with it, which is crazy.
In Bagram?
Yeah, in Bagram. So I still have my arm, thank God. I was there at Bagram for probably another day, and then finally made it to Landstuhl. And then from Landstuhl, they worked on me to get me good enough to where I could make the trek from Germany back to the States. And that took a couple days, and then went to Walter Reed, and spent a lot of time in Walter Reed.
Yeah. Did you think that before this happened, did you think that you were going to be in the military forever?
Yeah, my plan was to make it a career, was to do 20 years and retire and get out and try to figure out life after that.
How do you process, so during this time you're coming in and out of surgery, and was it then that you're realizing, wait a second,
no, no, not at all. It was, during this whole time, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get the care that I need. I'm going to heal back up, and I'm going to get back out with my guys.
And you're going to get back out to your guys.
That's what I need to do. That's how I'm this was dead set in my head that's what's going to happen. It wasn't until they made the decision to move me to Walter Reed that I started thinking, oh, this might not happen. I might not be able to get back to my guys. And then there was a moment at Walter Reed where I sat down with my occupational therapist and my physical therapist, and they're like, listen, man, you're not going to be able to go back. Like, this is a lifetime injury that you have. Like, this isn't just something that we can fix right now.
Right.
And that was when it really hit me that I'm not going to be able to be back there with my guys. And that was a hard day. That was a hard, thing to hear, because my guys were there without me, and they, you rely on each other so hard that it's just, when one of you is gone, you feel that.
And you were the guy in the front taking care of all of them.
Yeah.
And making sure that they were safe, essentially.
Yeah, that was the hardest part. No one was as proficient and trained as I was in the Valen. So I knew that, me leaving meant that people who didn't really understand what this thing is that finds the IEDs, that they're not going to really know how to use it as well. and that scared the hell out of me.
How do you process that, or how did you process that?
You know, I don't know if I ever really did or still have. You know, it's hard because 2 of my best friends took my place with the Valen, and they both stepped on IEDs and died. So that's a survivor's guilt that I live with every day.
How was then through Walter Reed? Like how was that recovery process?
Yeah, it was. You know, Walter Reed, they're incredible. The people out there are unbelievable. They're amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, you know, your life just got completely flipped upside down, and you know, the people there are incredible, and they try to help, and they try to support, but it's such a hard time, and you know, but you're surrounded by other, you know, military guys, so you're always cracking jokes and trying to make light of all this terrible situation that all of you are in. And I mean, Walter Reed was a huge gut punch because, you know, I was shot a bunch of times, and walking around there were people missing limbs, and there was, you know, people missing half their bodies and stuff. Like it's a place unlike any other, and it's a hard place to be.
You talked about survivor's guilt, and you're surrounded by all of your brothers and sisters who are going through a lot of the same things. Would you say that you leaned on each other? You talked about the humor too, but do you? Yeah,
1,000,000%. I mean, you know, you build a community within Walter Reed. Walter Reed is amazing in the sense that they do build a community. Okay. Every day there's an event or something going on where we can all just get together. Actually, there's been a couple of songs that I have put out that have come from those moments. But yeah, you know, they truly build a sense of community there, and you're able to lean on each other and talk to each other and tell stories and joke, and it's an incredible community. Absolutely.
Speaking of music, how did music come into your life?
Music didn't come into my life until way later.
No.
You know,
how?
I got out of, I had a whole life before music. It was
before music. You didn't have music at all in your life. You weren't playing.
No, I mean, I sang as a kid as like a hobby, but it was just
obviously
like
okay.
in the car and in the shower, but never in front of anybody unless it was like drunken karaoke.
Stop.
Yeah. No, it was never. This, you know, music was never a thought. It was never something I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like it was never a thing.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, I was.
You don't hear that very often.
No, especially being in Nashville, it's really amazing.
And making it like everybody's like they've been rooted from.
Well, yeah, I mean, you meet people in Nashville and they're like, man, I've been dreaming of doing this since I was 5. And
exactly.
I'm like, ooh, like I haven't. Like, I don't,
oh no.
You know, that's amazing, but I had a whole life before this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So where did it come? What inspired it?
You know,
then?
it was, you know, at the time I was shooting archery with the U.S. Paralympic program, and I was shooting professionally, and I got paid to do that. That was my life before music. I found an escape and a sense of purpose, and I was able to get away from the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety, all that stuff for 7 seconds at a time before that era released. And that's what I did for 6+ years. And then COVID hit and the world shut down. And you know, when it gets quiet is when the demon's not the loudest, and COVID was very quiet. And I decided one day, I had a guitar in the corner of my room, and I was like, I'm gonna jump on YouTube and learn how to play this thing. Like, I've never let anything stop me.
To learn how to play this, wow.
Yeah, so I jumped on YouTube and I started learning how to play the guitar, and I deep dove into learning how to play the guitar. And I learned like G, C, E minor, and D. Only 4 chords that I knew, but there are thousands of songs that are in that.
That's all it took.
I was like, man, I can start, like, I want to start learn. Like, if I'm going to truly learn how to play this, I need to learn songs that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
Because I knew that that was going to be the easiest way for me to learn, because I know what they're supposed to sound like. And if they don't sound like that, well, then I'll just jump on YouTube and find out why. So I started learning songs, and I started getting more comfortable with playing and then singing the songs as I'm playing, and that truly became an escape, and it became a sense of purpose of, you know, I now had a new mission. It was to learn this thing and try to figure out how to do this. And then, you know, I deep dove into that. And then I one day I was like, man, like, I still like this is great and it's amazing, but I still have these feelings all bottled up, and I still have these emotions, and I have to get them out. I have to put them somewhere before the cup overflows. And I was like, well, I want to learn how to write songs. Like, how do you do that? So I jumped on YouTube and I started learning how to write songs.
Stop.
Yeah, I went from, I started learning how songs are structured and how you go from a verse to a chorus to a bridge and how it all comes together and makes one thing. And I basically, that became a new outlet and a new escape. And I was able to take these feelings and emotions that I was struggling with and take them out of myself and put them somewhere else. And it was exactly what I needed when I needed it.
It takes people sometimes their whole lives to learn and to even feel confident enough, but then to be good at it.
Yeah, for me, it was just
to be great at it.
It was therapy that turned into an obsession.
I like the way you said that. Ooh, that's good.
And and it's still therapy to this day. It's crazy. I was writing songs and I was learning songs that I grew up listening to, and one day, the world started opening up around Nashville. And I had originally moved to Nashville because I'm originally from Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and I wanted to be closer to home, and all my guys were going to Fort Campbell, which is right down the road. And I was like, well, I'll just go with you guys. And I fell in love with Nashville and stayed. But yeah, I was in Nashville and I was like, man, like, I'm gonna go, outside of Nashville started opening up. There were, open mic nights that started happening, and I was like, I'm gonna go do one. Like, why not? Like, what do I have to lose? Like, let's just go. Like, I'm gonna go, I'll play a song, and if I make a fool of myself, it's not gonna be the first time, definitely not gonna be the last. And it'll be all right.
That's a way to think of it, yeah.
So
but it's pretty courageous.
Well, it was something I felt like I had to do. I had this new skill set that I had just unlocked, and I was like, I want to go see if I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Yeah. And went up there and I put my name on the list, and I remember walking up on stage and there were 4 people, and I remember thinking to myself, I've made a fool of myself in front of way more than this before.
There's only 4.
There's only 4 people here. Like, it'll be fine. And yeah, I walked up there and I played the first song I ever learned how to play, which Should Have Been a Cowboy by Toby Keith.
Fabulous.
And it was probably an awful performance, but
I doubt it.
In that moment, the escape and the therapy and the sense of purpose and the peace that I had found in everything else before, it was there, but it was magnified 100 times. And I knew in that moment that this is what I needed to do forever. That was the moment that the stage became a sanctuary for me. And
beautiful.
Yeah, and then the world started opening up more, and Nashville started opening up finally, and I had learned while playing all these open mic nights, because I played a bunch of them after that, and that down on Broadway in Nashville, you play 3 to 4 hours a day. And I was like, well, you're telling me for 3 to 4 hours a day, I can be away from the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety for 3 to 4 hours a day? Sign me up. Where do I go? How do I do it? And so one day I just decided to go down there, and for a month I walked up and down Broadway and bugged the crap out of people until they let me on a stage. And so much so that at one point in time I was playing 6 to 7 days a week.
Holy smokes.
And 3 to 4 hours a day. My vocal cords hated me, but the therapy that I got from it was exactly what I needed, and it was unbelievable. And I was good with staying on Broadway forever because I was getting therapy from this. And then crazy coincidence happened, and I was with my mom one day, and she was like, I'm gonna, come with me, and we're gonna go buy a car. And I was like, I don't know anything about cars, but all right, like, I'll go with you, because I figured Mom's probably gonna buy lunch or get me food, because
food motivated, every son.
You don't ever say no to free food.
No.
Ever. No, I'm 6'4", 260 pounds. I like to eat. So I went with her, and through a crazy coincidence, I met the son of Gordon Kerr, who's the Black River president and CEO. I met him. I was talking about music and how I use music as therapy and how I want to use my story and music to help people.
Yeah.
And I had a song out at the time, and it was an okay song. It was a song called "Truck It," and he was like, "Man, like, this song's good." He said, "But your story's incredible." He said, I'm gonna send this to my dad, and I'm gonna send it to Doug Johnson, who's our A&R guy at the Black River Entertainment." And I was like, Okay, amazing. Like, Nashville's full of people who like to talk and then nothing really ever happens.
They're movers and shakers, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, like, yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath, but that would be really incredible if it did happen. And literally 3 hours later, I got a call from Doug Johnson.
3 hours later?
Yeah, I got a call from Doug Johnson. He's like, we need to meet. And I was like, I can come right now. I'm wearing sweatpants, but I don't care. Like, I'll be there.
Mom, get the car, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mom, you just bought this new car, let's go. But yeah, we set up a schedule, and I went in, and I remember talking to Doug for the first time, and it was, and I was telling my story and talking about music and how music is therapy and how I want to use it and all this other stuff, and he just basically stopped me from talking, and he said, come with me. And we went down to the president's office, Gordon Kerr, and he was like, everything you just said, tell him. And so then we sat in Gordon's office for 3 hours maybe and just talked about my story and getting shot and music and how I use it as therapy and how I want everyone else, I want to help people find something the way that I was able to find music. And then from there, I just became Doug's guy for the longest time. It's so funny.
I love that.
I walked around, I remember walking around Black River.
He took you in, he was like, you were, get over here.
Absolutely, I remember for the longest time, at Black River, no one knew my name. I was just Doug's guy. Like, they saw me all the time, and I was always around Doug, and I was just Doug's guy for the longest time. And Doug Johnson he's an incredible person. He's become family, and he's the guy who discovered Blake Shelton. I mean, he has been in this, and he wrote 3 Wooden Crosses. I mean, he's been in this industry for so long, and to have him take me under his wing is,
he saw magic in you.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And and then, God, man, almost 2 years after that, I signed a record deal with them and a publishing deal, which is insane. Those are big deals. Huge deals. Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, it's been such a short amount of time. Like,
everything seems to go fast for you.
It's and because people in Nashville. I mean, I remember meeting people in Nashville on Broadway that have been playing Broadway for a decades. And they're like, man, like, still, just waiting for that moment. And here I am in the office at a record label about to sign a record deal, and I've been doing this for, at that time, 4 years.
That's amazing.
It's,
Your mama getting that car, something. It was all meant to be.
Absolutely.
Divine intervention. It all played out just the way it was supposed to. So as I mentioned, this podcast is in honor of Gary's late son, Mac Sinise, who we lost in January of 2024. And when Mac rediscovered his passion for music, it brought him such joy and purpose.
Yeah.
And just the way you're talking about this, there's just such a parallelism there. And so how did music help you heal? Like, you've talked about that, but how does it help you heal? Yeah, for me, initially, music helped me escape. It helped me get out of my mind. It helped me get away from the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety, all that stuff. But really, the real healing, there's been a couple different things that really helped. One of them is the ability to be able to just take the feelings and emotions and put them somewhere else. Okay.
I mean, that saved my life. And
so they're not heavy on you anymore.
They're not heavy on me. They're now out here on this piece of paper.
Okay.
And that's where they stay. You still feel it, but not as heavy.
Okay.
And then really the most healing that I've ever get is when I get a message from someone or something saying that my music or my story did something for them, that it helped them in some way, shape, or form, or that it helped them be able to communicate how they're feeling to their family when they didn't really know how to find the words. Oh man. And that, or getting a message saying, man, like, you made me want to just continue to try. And like that's where the real healing comes from, is just being able to know that you're doing something that means something to somebody. You're still serving. Trying. Yeah. Do you remember the first song that you wrote that felt like a turning point, maybe in your recovery or in your career? Yeah, 100%. Song called How Do You Choose? I was going to talk about that one. It was the first song that we released through Black River, and it was the song that changed my life completely. Wow. That song, I remember So that song came from a time in Broadway. I was down on Broadway, and my best friend's mom, Adam Hamilton, his mom showed up, and she was there for 4 hours, and she hung out. We laughed, we cried. It was incredible. And but when we got done that night, like we sat down and we talked, and you know, again, we laughed, we cried, we hugged each other, and
who was Adam Hamilton?
Adam Hamilton was my best friend that was killed in Afghanistan. Yeah. And his mom came to a show and just hung out and stayed there. And yeah, it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. It was amazing having her there, but you could feel that there was so much missing. You know, like any other time that we had, you know, seen each other or interacted before, Adam was always there. And this time he's not. And you know, I was just stuck with this overwhelming sense of like, how do you choose? Like, how is it that I get shot 10 times and then there's people out there that get hurt far less and they're not here anymore? Like, how does that make sense? How is that fair? And that stuck with me for a couple weeks. And I went to my friends at Creative Vets, and Jesse Wayne Taylor, a really good friend of mine, and he was like, we sat down in a room, and I remember going to Creative Vets because I love the Creative Vets guys. They're incredible people, and I always wanted to go through their program to write a song. I've always wanted to write a song with them, and they were like, all right, like, you're already a songwriter, you're already a musician down on Broadway. Like, if you're gonna write a song, you need to write a song that means something. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that.
That's a big
like,
task.
I don't know if I want to do that.
This means you have to process.
100%. And you know, we sat down in the room, me and Jesse, and he was like, all right, well, you know, we need to write something that means something to you. What are we gonna write? And I was like, I got this thought the other day, like a couple weeks ago, and about like, how do you choose and why am I here? And he's not, and he's like, do you want to write that? And I was like, if we can avoid it, I'd rather do that. I was like, but you know, but we couldn't,
No.
you know, and Jesse is just that guy that like you're in a room with him and you open up, like you have no problem just spewing everything. He's just one of those guys that you just feel comfortable with, and you want to talk about stuff. And so we started writing that song, and you know, that song came together in, God, 40 minutes. It was so fast. And you know, the verses of that song is step by step the first time I ever went to see his gravestone. And the chorus is the argument, the conversation, the venting session, the prayer that I have with God every day about why am I here? And why me? Like, why not the most incredible people I've ever known? Why did they not get to be here?
Yeah.
And that song, you know, writing that gave me so much healing, and it helped me more than I could have ever imagined. And you know, and the craziest part about that song, the reason why that song flipped everything for me was because a couple days after that, I went to a show. I was playing a show before the Super Bowl in Arizona, and I opened for Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, which is crazy to say.
Huge.
That was the first person I ever opened for. It was insane. So,
wow.
And Dave is one of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. But so I'm sitting in there, and it was an acoustic thing. I played an acoustic set, Dave played an acoustic set, and I played that song for the first time on that stage. And in that room was full of veterans. It was a veteran-specific event that they were doing. It was like 200, maybe 300 veterans in this room. And I remember playing that song, and I remember, like, after I got done playing it, it was just quiet. And I was like, oh my God, they hated this song. Like, this song is my heart and soul, and they hated it.
No.
And then I kind of opened my eyes and looked around and realizing that, like, everyone was consoling each other.
Oh.
And I was like, there's something to this song. Like, this, like, there's something that was so, like, personal to me. All of these people just connected with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I remember calling Doug, and I was like, Doug, there's something about this song. We have to record this song. Like, we have to put this song out. And the most incredible part of all of it was I got like 3 different messages after that. And one of them was from Jesse, who wrote that song with me. A buddy of his who joined the military was at that show, and he sent him a message and was like, man, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Like, I was gonna end it after Arizona. he said, I've always wanted to see Dave Grohl play, and he said, I figured, you know, why not go see him play before I just end it all. And he said, I was not ready for Scotty. And he said he played that song. He played the song called How Do You Choose? And it changed everything for me. And it showed me that, you know, that I'm not the only one feeling the way that I feel. And you know, that's the part, that's all that matters. Like, that was incredible. And the best part about it was in that message thread that he took a picture of, he was like, yeah, I wrote that song. But yeah, I mean, it was, you know, and that's.
What a full circle.
Yeah, it was incredible. And that was like, you know, and that song has changed everything for me. Like, I get messages almost every day about that song, about, you know, someone, you know, a veteran who lost a friend, or now the most incredible part is I get messages from like moms or dads who lost sons, or literally anyone who has lost anybody. And, you know, that song has become so much more than I could have ever imagined. And you know, when a song becomes, you know, the ability for someone to speak to their family without having to find the words to speak, or when it becomes a way for them to be able to connect and understand that they're not alone in the feelings that they're feeling, like, that's when it becomes more than a song. And that changed my life completely.
It's like legendary.
Yeah.
Like, it
completely changed everything for me. And that was when I realized, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what we're here. We're doing something, and yeah, I mean, that's that. And I just hope and pray that continues, and that in my story or my music, someone finds healing or something that helps them in some way.
Yeah, they're able to process it alongside you and through you, and through your craft. Absolutely incredible. You made your debut at the Grand Ole Opry in 2024.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Oh, that was insane. You know, there's a whole backstory to this. So 13 years before, I was at Walter Reed, and Gary came to Walter Reed. Okay,
I was gonna ask,
yes.
How did you meet Gary?
Yes, I didn't meet him though. So 13 years ago, I was at Walter Reed, that I had to go into a surgery. They were like, Gary Sinise is here. And at the time I was like, Gary, why does that sound so familiar? Gary Sinise. And they're like, Lieutenant Dan. I was like, I want to meet Lieutenant Dan. Like, that would be so cool. Like, absolutely, I want to meet Lieutenant Dan. And so we pushed off the surgery as long as we could to try to meet him. And, you know, he was doing his Gary thing, and he was meeting everybody and going into all the rooms, and we weren't able to connect in time, and I had to go into surgery. And I remember getting out of surgery and being loopy as all get out, and being like, is Lieutenant Dan still here? Like, I want to see him. And they're like, man, it's like 9 at night. Like, no, he's not here anymore. But yeah, so I missed the opportunity. And then, you know, talking to Andrea with the PenFed Foundation, we did a little something, and then they were going to the Gary Sinise Foundation to talk to y'all. And I was like, and I told them that story, and I was like, man, I've always wanted to meet him. I never got the chance to. And they were like, well, we'll let him know. And I was like, all right, amazing. And then literally a week and a half later, I get an email from Gary. And I was like, this is crazy.
Not surprised
at all. I get an email from him, and he's like, hey bud, heard you, you know, we missed each other. And I was like, this is wild.
You're like looking around like, is this happening?
Am I being punked right now? But yeah, and then, you know, we became like pen pals over email, and we started talking, and I would send him songs every once in a while that I was working on, and always like, hey man, if you ever come back into Nashville, like, I'd love to show you, you know, Black River and the studios and stuff like that. And then it kind of grew into this, you know, this partnership-ish with Gary Sinise and the foundation, and, you know, now we're doing shows and all this stuff, and so I went into the foundation building to meet with Dan and some other people at the foundation, and I was like, man, hopefully he's here. That'd be so cool. Like, I'd love to finally meet him. And the first time we went in, he wasn't there, and I was like, dang it, man. And every time I just miss him. And so then we went in another time, and he was actually there, and I remember him walking in, and I just grabbed him and hugged him, and I was like, 13 years, man. I've been waiting for this moment for 13 years. And you know, because he you know, in the military community, you hear about Gary all the time. Like he does so much, and it's not just the veterans, it's not just the first responders, it's the family and the kids, and you know, he's one of the, you know, this is one organization that truly encompasses everybody, which is unbelievable, and he's done so much for the military community. And at first, when I was at Walter Reed, I wanted to meet him just to say thank you, and
he's done
then
thank
finally,
you.
and then finally, 13 years later, I finally get to meet him and tell him like what he does, that it means way more than he'll ever know. Yeah. And you know, I have like Gary. You hear about the foundation all the time. One of my really good friends, Eric Trainwreck Burkett, got a house.
We love him.
Absolutely.
Eric,
and yeah, he's, you know, Trainwreck's insane.
He is.
He is one of my dearest friends. And yeah, you hear about it all the time. And it's you know, finally I got the chance to meet him, and then we were at an event for the PenFed Foundation, PenFed Gala. Yep. And it was at the Four Seasons here in DC. And we had just got done doing sound check. And they were like, hey, this cameraman's gonna like follow you around, like just to kind of get some footage for PenFed. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that's
no
not
big deal.
that's not that different.
Right.
Like, sure, you just follow me around, whatever. Didn't think anything about it. We're sitting there in the green room, and I get a call. I didn't even look at the name or the number or anything. I just kind of swiped over because they were like, hey, you're gonna get a call for an interview. They just want to do an interview real quick, and then that's it. And I was like, okay, like no big deal. Like that happens all the time, like, you know. And so I get the call and don't even think about it. I answer it and I'm like, hello. And then immediately you know the voice. And I'm like,
yes, the first word.
Yeah. He's like, Scotty. And I'm like, hold on.
You're like, wait, what's happening?
Like, he's like, Gary Sinise here. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, yeah, what? What's up? Like, I think I was like, hey, man, like, what's going on? It was like, he was kind of taken back. And he was like, hey. Like, but yeah, and then that's when he was like, you know, we're doing this thing, the 30th anniversary of Forrest Gump, at the Grand Ole Opry, and just wanted to know if you wanted to be a part of that.
It was a surprise.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, like what?
What do you even say to that?
It was crazy. And one of the coolest parts was like, all right, so what we're gonna do is you get to do one of your songs, but also you have to pick a song from the soundtrack. And I was like, done. Absolutely. I already know what song it is. I already know what song I'm gonna do. And it was Fortunate Son.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Yep. And
amazing.
Immediately, I mean, you hear that song and you think of a helicopter coming through the jungle.
Oh yeah.
And the greatest part about it is I didn't even realize it, is that's when Lieutenant Dan becomes Lieutenant Dan in the movie. Like that's when you meet Lieutenant Dan.
That is the scene where it comes through.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that until afterwards. And that's just one of my favorite songs, and it's a very specific soldier song.
Oh,
like you hear that song and you immediately think soldier. And I was like, it can't be any other song but that. I have to do that song. And so we did it and made my debut, and that is, I mean, the Opry is incredible. I mean,
share about this. I mean, a lot of people know, but that stage.
It's the mountaintop.
That is
as a country artist, yes. As a country artist, that is truly the mountaintop in country music.
The best of the best.
100%. And the most, I've never felt feelings like I did when I walked out on that stage. And still, every time I walk out on the stage, it's just like you feel the weight of all the people before you and all the history before you.
Oh yeah.
And it's absolutely incredible. And yeah, I remember I did Fortunate Son. And we loved it to the point of where now I have a cover of it coming out.
Yes.
Late in June.
Great.
And then I did it. So I did How Do You Choose?
I was in the crowd, and that one.
Yes. And
unbelievable.
The most incredible part about playing How Do You Choose that night was that Adam Hamilton's family was in the crowd. And it was without a doubt one of the most incredible experiences I've ever experienced.
He was there with you.
Absolutely. And then after we played How Do You Choose, like they showed his picture on the back, and it was an emotional day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, his family was there just to see you honor him.
Yeah,
I mean, you
incredible.
had the song you played of your songs, it was that song.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then, so after your debut, they do like a little party in the circle room, and and we went to the Circle Room, and his family was right there. And I got to like meet so many more of his family that I'd never got to meet before.
Oh,
like
family
his
reunion.
grandmother
Your
and stuff,
family, what are you, you are in.
Yeah, like his grandma and stuff. It was so incredible.
Oh, that's so good.
That was one of the greatest nights of my life.
You can't top that. No, you cannot top that. Well, you also performed in the 2025 National Memorial Day concert. What was that like?
I mean, what? Yeah. It's. I grew up watching this.
Okay.
Like it's.
To think you're on the stage now, you're on the TV. It's you.
Like this is like the Memorial Day special was a staple in our family. We watched it every year, and now I get to be a part of it, which is crazy. There's been so many things that happen where I'm like, how is this a thing?
You're being guided.
I got a great team behind me, I guess. And but no, I mean it's everything, I mean, especially as a veteran. I mean, we talk about our heroes, the people that didn't come home and all the ones before that. And we think about them all the time, and they never go away, but that's the one day that we truly get to celebrate them. And honor them and celebrate their lives and what they've done. I mean, you hear stories about people that are just superhuman.
Oh yeah, and it's the Adam will never be forgotten. This is our day.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people know his name now.
I love that.
It's so cool.
That's it. He lives on.
Yeah.
During the performance, you wear this hat.
Absolutely, always.
What is this?
This is me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's become a motto and it's become a way of life for me since I got shot. I'm grateful to be breathing, let alone be able to, do what I do. I mean, it's what I get to do is a dream for so many people. And not only them, but it's a dream for me. Like this, but the crazy part is this was never the dream until it was, and then it's just been full steam ahead. And it's, I will never take it for granted that I am where I am, and there's so many people that would just do anything to be where I am, and yeah, I just try to stay grateful for every day that I wake up and get to do what I do and get to be with my kids and it's just it's me.
It's a reminder too, I think, for others, the importance of it, because it's so easy to get caught up, in the day to day. And I even look at it and I'm like, it just takes me a moment just to take a deep breath and go, okay, there's a lot to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for you to be here.
Well,
and your story is one of courage, transformation, and truly the healing, like the healing power of music. And how you share that with others, your service to others, and to connect with them through that is unbelievable. Scotty's debut EP, I'm America, is out now and available on all streaming platforms. Please do go take a listen. Yes. And now, as we do with every podcast episode, Mac will close out the show.
You've been listening to GSF Podcast, the official podcast of the Gary Sinise Foundation. If you'd like to find out more about what the foundation is up to, or if you'd like to make a donation, please visit GarySiniseFoundation.org. Make sure to tune in next time for more interviews, and thanks for joining us.